tell us what's the vision of Avaya of the smart cities?
So I like to summarize it with building blocks. So first, if you look at smart cities, we believe there are three key building blocks for the city to become smart. The first one is about smart government. And I'll give you maybe two examples to articulate that. The government, if you look at public safety, just as one example, which by the way we're demonstrating downstairs as well. You look at emergency services, it's very inconsistent how it's being implemented. Being in a hotel, being at in a public facility, where a theater or anything like that. Some you have to dial 9, some you have to dial 8, some you have to dial 555. It's very consistent. So what we're saying is the government has a key role to play to bring smart cities. That means that they have to regulate, some laws, right? Some implementation. We fundamentally believe that public safety is a critical one because it means life and death, right? So we've put a lot of effort based on our heritage of telecommunication, to bring public safety emergency services to another level. So by this we mean that with your mobile device, when you dial for emergency services, being 911, 000, 112, independent where you are in the world, you have to be able to have data services. And the reason we need data services is I need to be able to push your exact location. By pushing a data service and having a data connection above voice, which traditionally you get when you do an emergency services call, I now have the ability to push videos content, right? Like a YouTube video. And I used the example earlier today, like if I'm having a heart attack and you're next to me, but you don't know how to do CPR, well, the operator of the emergency services should be able to instantly push to your mobile device a quick 15-second video on how to do CPR, right? From there, they should be able to turn your smart device into a video input showing the operator what's really going on. Are my lips blue? Am I choking? Whatever. So today you can't do that, right? You basically have a voice call and everybody's panicking. What's going on? What do you see? So now what we want and what we're demonstrating downstairs, if you go see the demo, is the ability to bring public safety to a smarter level. Right? We add capabilities and we enable new smart services. So that's one. The other one that we've seen that is very inconsistent in other places around the world, the technology has to be endorsed by the population too. So the government has to sometimes jump in. Example, in North America, many of the schools are trying to prevent kids from bringing smartphones into classrooms because it's disruptive. They're looking at YouTube videos and music and so on, and they're not listening to the professor. So instead of doing that, because I think it's dumb to do that, if you want a smart school or smart education, what you need to do is detect the presence of the professor walking into the classroom and immediately program the network to stop all traffic to the internet. And all of the students can do is listen to the lecture from the professor. Now that's smart, because now you have their undivided attention. You're not preventing them from having a smartphone in case you're a parent, you want to call your kid for emergency, well, you have access to them. So you endorse the technology, yes, you use it smarter. So smart education is another place where the government has to make sure that the schools don't start preventing kids from leveraging smartphones. Because otherwise they won't be able to consume smart apps, right, which the city will be building for transportation, railways, or whatever it is, right? So the consumers have to be able to consume that. In other parts of the world, like I was in the Middle East 2 weeks ago, they are encouraging smartphones to be used by all the kids in the entire population. Where, and again in North America, we're seeing pockets of people doing the complete opposite. So what we're here for is like, hey guys, make sure that you don't make that mistake. But I go back to my building blocks. The first building block is the government has to do things to make sure that they're implemented the smart way. The second piece of the second building block is smart enterprises. The healthcare, the education, the oil industry, the transportation, right? They have to move to smarter. Smarter means leverage solar power whenever you can. Move to hybrid cars or electrical cars whenever you can to reduce the the pollution, right, and the CO2 emission, reduce the water consumption. Like these are all things, right, that you need to do. In addition to, healthcare has to be smarter, right? And by this, well, the doctor should not have to physically go to the hospital to look at your health signs, right? They should be able to remotely access all this information securely, remotely, anywhere, anytime, on any device. Well, again, by elevating the healthcare to smarter healthcare, you don't compromise security, you don't compromise my confidential information, but you give more mobility and more capabilities that healthcare did not have before. Above and beyond the traditional stuff that you've heard about x-rays and doctors doing remote diagnostics and so on. So it's, again, they have their share to do, the transportation system has to do their share. So what we're saying is there's a second building block. The entire verticals have to participate and endorse a smart city. If 2 or 3 of these building blocks or these verticals don't do their share, if you don't have CO2 emission or the city getting greener, then really how smart are you? Right? So those are all the things, and like I said, this is the second building block. The third building block is the smart citizens. The citizens have to consume the apps. They have to have smartphones. And this I kind of go back to why I think that some folks in North America is not very smart. If you don't have a smartphone, an iPhone, a Droid, a tablet, how will you consume the smart apps that the rest of the enterprises and service providers are putting in place? Then you start aligning these 3 building blocks: the smart government, the smart enterprises, and their smart citizens, and now you form a smart city. And that's what we're trying to communicate and demonstrate downstairs. It's smart is not just, hey, let's talk about smart cities where we enable Wi-Fi services. What do you do with that, right? It's very convenient, but how smart is it? Really? Like, I don't see the big difference. What's smart is when you start controlling the traffic. But controlling the traffic is not just by turning the lights green, red, and yellow. If it's congested, I don't care if the light turns green or not. You're not moving, right? What's smart is about spreading, the time that people can drive in, minimize, the access. So if you don't need to go physically to the bank because you can do smart banking, well, again, there's less cars on the road. So as the city gets smarter and you start enabling smart services, your transportation challenges or roadways, challenges may diminish. So again, this is where we're trying to bring everything, say, it's about smart government, it's about smart healthcare, it's about smart education, it's about smart, finance, it's about everybody contributing, as opposed to where we see many of our competitors who say, let's build smart cities. So we're saying let's take steps in various areas of smart to elevate this and really deliver on smart.
And do you think all these services is going to be a better, what is going to improve the engagement with the citizens?
I fundamentally believe yes. And again, we're seeing, I was in India as well, where use another use case, and I'll use one in the Middle East to answer your question. Big complaints on garbage pickup in India, right? Mm-hmm. So what they did is they started to build smart cleaning services. So now they have RFID tags on garbage bins. They have by-the-minute reports of all the bins that have been emptied, when, where the trucks are, and so on. So their smart initiative was to address citizen complaints about, you didn't pick up my garbage, when they knew that they had passed by, but their garbage was not there. So now they know exactly, they can respond back to the citizens, and again, their satisfaction has gone up. Look at the Middle East, you go to Dubai, they have the what they call the happiness index. I don't know if you've heard about this. So every morning, every citizen is encouraged to go to a website, and there are 3 smiley faces, one that is sad, one that is neutral, and one that is happy. So every day they can tell and let the government know how happy they are. And they measure this as the happiness index. And it's all based on, are you providing me services that I value, right? And it could be as simple as, I saw garbage on the street last night, right? And they can complain about it and say, I'm not happy about that. Or I went to take the subway and 3 of the kiosks did not work, and it took me 45 minutes to buy my ticket. I'm not happy about that. The next day you say everything worked, I went to the office, there was no traffic, life was good, I'm happy. So it's kind of funny how the world is going different at it, but you see two different examples, really targeted exactly at your question. It's all about the citizens. If the citizens don't see value and don't see benefits, then probably you're not delivering smarter services.
Nice.